For joining us. And with us right now is Congresswoman Sherry Bustos, who is the former chair of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. She represents the 17th District in Illinois.
Good morning, Congresswoman. I want to ask you about what we've been seeing happen overnight in the Senate chamber there. Your colleagues arguing about these amendments through the night, now into the early morning hours. They are still at it here as we take a live look inside. And I want to ask you, you have Republicans using these stall tactics. They're accusing Democrats of trying to slip in unnecessary spending into this bill. Then you have Democrats saying these amendments are robbing Peter to pay Paul. What's your take?
Well, my take is that we have to have a sense of urgency around this. You know, as we sit here, the congressional district that I serve is in the northwest corner of the state of Illinois, most geographically very rural. It's a 7,000 square mile district. And just take this example as one congressional district, 101,000 people in the congressional district I serve, we just surpassed the 100,000 mark, have contracted coronavirus. We have 113,000 kids who haven't been able to return back to school full time. And then in the state of Illinois, we now have 20,000 Illinoisans who have lost their lives. So that is just an example of what's going on in the state of Illinois and then my corner of the state of Illinois that I'm lucky enough to serve. And there just has to be a real sense of urgency around here. The fact that the Republicans in the Senate have required the 600-plus page bill to be read word for word. Now these stalling tactics, this vote-a-rama, as you referred to early in your show, we've got to get to work here. And President Biden understands that, the popularity numbers that you just went over, President Trump never had those kind of numbers. So the momentum is with us to get this going. The momentum is with President Biden to get this signed into law. And as he announced earlier, before he was even sworn in, saying help is on the way, help needs to be on the way now.
And Congressman, you mentioned your constituents there in the greater Peoria, Rockford area of Illinois. Are you satisfied with the direction of this bill when it comes to addressing the concerns of those constituents?
Yeah, the bill that I enthusiastically supported when it went out of the House, a week ago today, this morning in the early hours, I supported that because we need to have that additional unemployment help. And I know it's now been reduced out of the Senate from $400 to $300 per week. We need that additional $1,400 that are going to go to families all over Peoria, Moline, Illinois, where I'm sitting right now, looking at the Mississippi River here. And I can see Iowa from my porch. I know folks over there need help as well. We need to make sure that we can resume the help at the very granular level back to our towns. The trash collection, snow plowing, making sure that our police officers are not laid off and our firefighters are not laid off. Those are real things that are happening on the ground. So that help to the city governments, our towns.
And this bill addresses all of that? I mean, it doesn't have the minimum wage. The bill that you guys passed doesn't have minimum wage. This bill addresses all those concerns?
Well, I mean, there's always going to be more work to be done. When you're talking about, again, a 600-some-page bill, we're not going to be able to get everything in there that we want.
Okay.
I supported the minimum wage. I hope that eventually we'll be able to get that taken care of.
All right.
Right now, Senator Joe Manchin has a lot of power in your caucus because you guys need every vote that you have right now, or at least on the Senate side. How do you feel right now about the Democratic compromise in reducing those weekly unemployment payments to $300 a week?
Well, I would argue that actually every House member and every senator has a lot of power in that. We've got a 50-50 split over in the Senate, and we only have a 4-vote majority in the House. So if you look at it that way, it just requires that we do our best to try to work together. I think as we move forward in this congressional session, we are going to have to figure out how we're going to work out a compromise that is going to work for people. Mm-hmm. And, in the end, we have to get something done. That's what it gets down to. We have to get something done. The stalling tactics, it's an annoyance, but we're going to pass this. The Senate's going to pass it. They'll send it back to the House. We'll pass it. We'll send it over to Joe Biden. The call for action here is that we send help, the help that is on the way. We've got to get that out the door and to families, to small businesses, and try to get things back to normal in this country.
All right, Congresswoman Bustos, we'll leave it there. Thanks for being with us.